Very welcome here tonight or this morning for those of you across the Atlantic to this webinar about the emails and activities app in Monday.com. And we're also going to reiterate some things about our own app conversations towards the end. We'll do that tonight. Yeah, we're in the middle of the introduction here, as always. Then we're going to talk and show and tell within the emails and activities app. I'm Fredrik Kastenholm, as per usual, here, your moderator, and I'm the CRO at Omnitas. And with me, my partner in crime.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah. I jumped actually straight into a part of one of the CRM builds we have here. And this is actually Monday's own unified CRM build. And I'm on the item card where I also have my email and activities app. And this is where the email and activities app lives on your item cards. So for those of you who don't know, item cards is basically going into the item, and normally you would end up on updates, right? But we've added an item card, and that you do here, add view. And you can add an item card or emails and activities directly straight onto it. So that's where you find it. And we actually been spiffy enough to make this the standard view in this, and not just go by setting it as a board default.
Nice.
So that's a really good way to go. I tend to like it myself, especially for CRM systems and stuff like that, to get this kind of a card view. Since you may at a certain point have quite a lot of columns, and this might help you, or at least it helps my brain to wrap around the information and have this kind of.
I mostly navigate and work with item cards nowadays, especially with the long column builds we have.
Yeah, I mean, we have several of our clients where we go up like in the 80s or hundreds of columns. So then the item cards is really nice. As you can see here, it's sorted. So we have the contact information, we have the company information, we have connected boards and stuff like that. So everything in its own place, so we find the right information in the right section. So I really rather enjoy it. So, but to my right here, we have the emails and activities app. And this is actually the old version, right, Thomas?
There is a new version of the emails and activities. So we want to show you how you access that, right?
Yeah, so much intentionally, we've started out with the old version. So it looks like this. Many of you have seen it, but we're actually right now going to switch into the new one. So what you do is you click your avatar, the main menu, and you go to Monday Labs.
And Monday Labs has a lot of nifty features that, like group summary, board summary.
Yeah. It's a lot, and you have like board footers and everything. So it's really many good things. And here you also have the open and close board, the new UI experiments. So you can, if you don't have them installed, you can try them out from here. And you can always hide animations, which is good if you're on a slow computer, because that actually is done in your computer. So, but now we're going to activate emails and activities version 2. So we just go activate on that one. Nothing happens. Why? Yeah, because I need to close the Monday Labs, and now my screen should reload within a second or so.
Yeah. So very important, let it reload. You don't need to force the reload. If it doesn't reload, there was some activation problem, right?
So we can already see now things have changed here in the menu settings. So send emails first, and then we have add activity, and now it's actually recaching all my mail, because as you can see, I've gone into myself. So there will probably be a few emails in here.
So one of the big updates is that they wanted this to look more like a timeline in a traditional CRM. It makes more sense from a visual perspective. There's more information in every single block. Used to be that you couldn't get any information at a glance. You had to click in everything. So that's one big visual update that we got.
Exactly. And so now you basically got the timer, so you can just keep on scrolling. Of course, you will build up over time and have a lot of information on your contacts, so you can always go for the filters, and we can see just show me activities, for example, and there I go, and I have the activities. As you can see, if I actually clear this one, there were over 1,000 emails, in here. So but here we go. So you can sort by month or sort by year, or a lot of different stuff you can do within here, so you can actually find what you need a bit more quickly. Send an email. Yeah, that's actually rather easy. So we press send an email. The first time you do this, actually you will get a different pop-up because you will need to connect your email service. And the email services that are accepted are a Gmail or a Google Work Suite, or what's it called nowadays?
Workspace.
Something works, something. The old G Suite. Or just
Workspace.
Yeah, or just any Gmail basically, or an Office 365 Outlook address. So you basically just have to log on. That's it.
Yeah.
And then you're in. So we're not going to go through how you log on, because that means I have to disconnect my account and everything. But here we can see it finds the address of the contact. So I can just go, send to Frederick. I'm going to send an email to myself.
So the email is fetched right now from the connect to board column, where we have Frederick as a contact. So if you have multiple people connected, you can send emails to multiple or just one of those contacts.
Yeah, actually, a good example would be if now I'm actually on the person card, on the contact card, but if I were on, say, the company card, I could choose between any and all contacts I had connected to that account.
Yeah.
So it's actually really rather nifty in that way. And of course, I can just go and add manually. I have my CC and my BCC functions. I have my subject, so normal word processing here. And of course, in this, since it's Monday, of course, I can bring in column values. So I can actually create dynamic emails, right? And this isn't maybe the most useful feature when I'm just writing a one-off email, but look what it says just next to it, templates. And templates can be leveraged and be very powerful and save you a lot of time. And this is rather easy. So in this way, we can actually write one email and fetch the correct information for that person. And just to create a template, just type out the email you're going to do, then press template, save as new template, and that's it.
Yeah,
it's that easy. Another feature within emails and activities is the email tracking capabilities. That tracking capabilities makes so we can actually see if the recipient has opened the email or not, and actually how many times they've done it. So, and this we can also weave into automations and stuff like that, and actually be rather nifty with. I know you like to play around with it, Thomas.
Oh yeah, no, but I mean the email tracking is really good. I mean, obviously, it's nice to know if people have opened your email, if they have read it, or they have received it. So, this is something a lot of CRMs are trying to have. There's actually add-on services on top of Gmail to start tracking stuff like that. But now you get it without additional cost directly inside of Monday.
Exactly, and usually you pay a fair few dollars a month for that service. So that's really good. Then I just basically hit send, and away we send that. And now it saves it here.
Yeah.
That's it. And since this is my Gmail account, yes, we at Omnitas use Google, so this is a Gmail account. Now I can actually find this email in my sent box as well. And any reply to this email will appear both here and in my normal Gmail inbox. So emails and activities always goes in and just continuously checks, do you get any email from any of your contacts? And if so, then I'm going to grab that email and I'm going to plonk it in here. At certain points, you don't want this to happen. That's why.
Did you guys see that my reply to Frederick's email actually went straight in here? So it actually changed and popped up.
Yeah, it did.
So we have the reply, and
Yeah.
Frederick can easily now actually reply as well.
And I can go.
And it suggests the recipients, but it doesn't assume. So you have to click the name of the recipient, and then you can send the email.
Yep. So you can have a back and forth in here. But as we said, we also have the settings. And I'm actually going to start from the bottom because there are emails like, for example, let's say you have your spouse or whatever in your list of contacts. And you might not want to log every email conversation you have with your spouse. And we can actually go into never log, enter that person's email in here, and those will not be logged, at least not from your account. So that's a good way if you have certain people that you don't want to be logged, because of course when it is logged, it will be accessible to anyone who has access to that Monday board, right?
Yeah.
Which is in itself a really, really good thing, because it means that you can go on vacation or be sick or whatever and be ensured that your colleagues can actually take care of your business while you're away.
But I think this is a good situation to talk about the sharing, right?
Yeah.
Because the sharing is actually a good thing, because sometimes, yes, we do want to work as a team, we want to share stuff, but sometimes we actually don't want to make our emails available to everyone, and Monday has allowed for that option. So we could have this as personal or share all the communications between us.
Yeah, so you have to have a think on how you're going to do that.
Yeah.
But remember, if you have just me, it's going to be basically as you had it in your own inbox. So
yeah. So we would, of course, advocate for the fact that you're sharing it, because that's when you get added value from having the holistic view of all your colleagues' communications with the same entities.
Exactly, and that's when you can really draw upon it, and you don't have that situation where information is kidnapped in someone's inbox, and then all of a sudden they go on a 4-week leave. We've seen that happen before.
Yeah.
And it's been fun. So of course it's all in here. You can sort your email signature, and of course when that should be entered in, like any email clients basically. And here we can also sort the Monday branding from your sending, so it looks as much as normal as possible. Here we can also set up our automations and notifications.
And this is just to be honest, this is just a quick access to the automation page for everything, emails and activities.
Yeah.
Currently, I know this is requested, right? And that is automatic sending of emails based on status triggers. That should still be done in the old integrations that you find in the integration center under either Gmail or Outlook, because you don't have status triggered email sending in emails and activities. But you do have automations like when we get a reply from this contact, change a status. When I get a reply, set a date. So we can do with the two, we can make basically any scenario we want, but we need to combine them.
Yeah, and remember, since that is going to be sent through your email as well, even if you do the old way, it's going to be logged in email and activities.
Yeah. All you just need to do is you need to look at the log section to make sure that it actually is set up correctly. Because if you want to use status triggered email settings, if you open the log, please, Frederick, just to.
Yeah.
If you have this setting, those outgoing automatic emails from status triggers won't actually be saved in emails and activities.
Yeah.
You want to have automatically log all outgoing emails.
And here you also have create a new contact if the recipient.
Be careful about it, but there's definitely use cases where you should check that box.
Yeah, there are, and let's say it like this: if you dare to activate it, try it out for a bit and see where it goes, and just don't leave it running amok.
Yeah. So that's, I think, is that all? Obviously, we can't show you how to connect an account, but we can open up the manage connected accounts interface if you open that main tab. So it basically is like,
I click my Gmail, I get to connect something.
yeah. And it asks you to log in, and it will do the same for Outlook. Once you've done it once, you're good to go. Right now, emails and activity works with private email addresses. We have all those nice emails that additional people can have access to, like the info@omnitas.se, support@omnitas.se, and stuff like that. They are coming. So there's definitely improvements on the way. And yeah. But
yeah, this is the final version of this app. It's the latest version of this app. But now we talked quite a lot about activities, right? Or emails, I mean. But of course, we also have email and activities. So we have the activities part, and that you actually find here, straight on here. And this will also populate your timeline. You always get these selection of 4 standard ones, but you can add your custom, call it whatever you like. And since we are Swedish, we're going to go with meatballs. And choose a color and choose
black. They have been in the frying pan too long.
Okay, then we're gonna go for black, and they're gonna.
And obviously, we need a fork and
yeah. It's food, right? So now we create our activity, which is meatballs.
Yes.
And there we go. Now we have it.
It also opened the first interface because it assumed that you wanted to add an activity of this type and not just add a category, right? So if you just wanted to add a category, you hit X, or you just say meatballs at IKEA, always nice.
Let's add that one.
And keep in mind, activities can either be a record of things that happen. So we use the date and the timestamp provided. We change it because we are reporting after the fact, or we're planning an activity in the future.
Yeah. Can go here, and of course, change that to whenever, wherever.
Yeah, and the cool thing here is that actually it works with your calendar and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, you can have templates here as well, which you use. And you can mention someone, so you can actually go. Let's see if we can.
So then we say, okay, why would I need a template in an activity? Well, imagine that you have 3 kind of qualification meetings or calls as part of your sales process. You could put a predetermined activity saying like budget qualification. You use the template, you get all the different categories of stuff that you are expected, you have that ready, and you just take notes during the call to make sure that you have everything as you need, and good to go.
Exactly. So be creative with it. It can be really used if used well. Now, what we want to do at certain times as well is also to create a log to be able to dashboard, because we can't dashboard the information within emails and activities straight out within the self. We actually need to create a Monday item somewhere.
Yeah.
And
so what we're talking about is a lot of sales team, a lot of head of sales, and also internally with the salespeople, we know that X amount of activity leads to X amount of result, right? And then we need to make sure that we actually are doing the activities, the quantity needed to reach the target numbers.
Yeah, and also the right type of activities.
Yeah. And it would be nice being able to track. For instance, a lot of our clients want to know how many meetings are our sales reps attending on a weekly basis.
Exactly. Or how many phone calls do they put down whatever, outbound, cold calling or whatever. So, and we can make those into metrics, but we can't do it straight from within emails and activities. So this is actually one of the cases where we will need something else. So what I'll do now is that if you don't have it already, is that we create an activities board. Call it whatever you like, but an activities log, an activities board, whatever. But this is basically where we will store, as we can see here, we actually stored my meatballs, right?
Lovely.
So this is actually where we can pick that information up. If I'm rather more clever than I've been here now, because now I only have meatballs in the name, and that's not good enough for a good dashboard. And I would probably put that somewhere in its own column, right? But that you can tinker out yourself. So, but what we do, we set this board up. Don't need very many columns for this to work fine. What we do then is we go to integrate. I actually already have my integration here, but in the integration center, we can find the emails and activities. So it's in integration, not automation. Remember that. And that's because it's actually an app. We click on that one, and here you have all your preset recipes. And it's actually the last one we're going to want to take a look at for this one. So when an activity is created within emails and activities, create an item in this board and connect it to the source item. That's pretty much what we want to do.
Yeah. And I don't know how many times I've seen people go to the contacts board and try and set it up from there, right? Because that's where you're using the emails and activities app. Correct. But you want to go to the dedicated activities board, just like Fredrik is showing.
Yes. So this is where you set it up. And then it will actually fetch the information from wherever you are. So it will actually just add on boards if need to, because you're probably going to have your contacts board, you're going to have your company board, and maybe a few projects board or whatever, or opportunities board where you will email from. And when you add this in, you choose it, and then you choose it by this board and then connect. And my recommendation here is add the connection from here, from within the integration. Don't add a connector board and try to connect that, but when you set up the integration, click here and you can add a connector board functionality, because that will then be logged in the app, and then any and all boards that where you use emails and activities will be automatically connected to that one connector board column. So do that, and then you can of course set up the information and how it's going to be delivered into your item when it's created. So how should it be named? So here we have source item name. That's my name in that meatball case, and then the activity type, which was meatball. But then we can of course also have like a drop down or a status or something where we're actually typing the activity type so we get that specified, right? Because then it might be easier for us to actually draw some good data on it. So I'm going to close this down.
So we can say that you basically set up what part of the activity data that you feel valuable, so you don't need to carry over data that you're not interested in.
Exactly. Here we have our source items, and we have a mirror link to that, just showing what board it comes from. And you can see here it comes from a lot of different boards, right? So, and that's completely automatic. Just when you add the integration, that's when you add this column. So you add it through the integration and everything will work perfectly for you. So don't start fiddling around yourself and trying to add it and make it a multiple here.
And this connector board, it works a little differently thanks to the integration in a normal connector board, because if we were to build this without emails and activities, we would need to go into a connector board and select all the boards for the relationship with all the different places where we have the support, where we have the contacts, where we have the opportunities. Don't do that. Like Fredrik said, start the board without a connector board column at all. And just when you go to that argument in the integration, the integrations and the scenarios are always good. If you're lacking the variable, it will ask you to add, if it should add it, and that's what you want to do.
Yeah, so you add it from within there, and then it will work. And we've seen many people having a problem with this because they have been trying to fiddle around themselves and trying to connect it to different stuff. Don't. So
Yeah.
that's the lesson for today. Don't, and it will work.
Yeah.
Then this, of course, is also the information you can actually bring up into my work. So we see here meatballs. Yeah, since that was passed, it was registered as done right away. But actually, it's demo data. So yeah, we should have closed this one a long time ago. But
the reason why they're open is because when it was registered in the future. So it's actually a smart app in that sense.
Yeah, and then you have it entered into your my work, and from there you can also like tick it off. Yeah, I've had that meeting, I made that phone call, whatever, right? Because you have a call summary, but most of our clients also have make a phone call.
Yeah, and you can also set up additional automations on top of this. Obviously, you don't want to set up an automation saying when the end date has passed, mark it as done, because that's just a lazy sales rep who doesn't follow up on his or her activities. But you could put an automation saying 1 day after end date, if the status is not closed, change it to something that's very alarming, like missed or delayed or warning.
And then you have a notification on that one just for shits and giggles, right?
Yes, and then you have maybe even a dashboard view where you see all the open, not completed tasks and stuff like that.
Exactly. So you have that. I know there's such a view in many CRM systems where you have your red tasks, basically.
Yeah.
And that's very easy to create with this as well.
Yeah. But the emails and activities are a really good asset to have. It provides so much value, and it removes you from spending hours having to set up something similar by yourself. And exactly. If you do, you won't get as close either. And we have to and keep in mind, this is a free app provided by Monday, so it's not even at an extra cost.
Exactly. It's completely free when you have your Monday license, so just go nuts with it. Of course, we looked at one automation, but like we said, there are quite a few in here. It's everything to set a due date when you do something, change the status when you receive an email.
Even with open, so you can actually create like workflows and tracking, saying like when an email is open, change it to something. Then we put a date next to them, and if that date is past more than 2 days and they still haven't replied, because we can change the status on our reply, then it goes on a special list, and we get a warning about it. So we can do so much custom follow-up rules. It's crazy. I mean,
yeah, or
you can webinar just on the combination of what you can achieve with these automations.
Yeah, or you can, as we said before, use the old emailers and activities and just send an email that way. And then, hey, mate, emailed you 2 days ago, haven't got your reply yet.
Yeah,
looking forward to it. Or whatever you want to do with it. So you can really have a go at this. So, yeah. So also see with what other functionality can I combine this new functionality that I've got? And that's really how you always should think about Monday, because just because we get something new, that's not the only thing you can use. You can always look back and see all the awesome functionality we already had. How do I weave them together, basically?
But basically, I would argue that with the automations provided, you can create your own virtual assistant that always have a curated list of these are the things that you need to take action on based on the automations here. The only thing, like I said, that we're lacking is status triggered emails, which you can send with the old native integrations.
Exactly. That's basically emails and activities, I think. Have we missed something?
I don't think so. We don't have any questions in the chat, and obviously we can go on a huge tangent, but all of those becomes like micro situations that might be
Yeah.
interesting to everyone. I'll leave like 2-3 minutes in the chat if anybody has a specific question before we change subject to the conversation app, right? But in the meantime, maybe we'll switch presenter because we can still answer questions. So we got one now. How many activity boards can you have? You have one activity board, right, Frederick?
I have one activity board, yes.
Yeah. And if you're worried about the amount of items you can have on an activity board, keep in mind that you can create a nested archive on top of it. So X amount of days after the start date, move it to another board where it probably is just becomes history.
Yeah.
And then because you can still have 50 boards in one dashboard if you're an enterprise, so you have a lot of activity items you can have.
Yeah, I mean, it's if you're on an enterprise account, it's 20,000 line items in a single board, so that's quite a lot of activity. So I think you will have to really go at it to get up there. But as Thomas said, create an archive board, and that in turn can have an archive board if you're really up there. So they can just keep shooting down.
Yeah. We have built solution with like 10, 12, 15 archiving boards where you archive different time perspectives.
Yeah. So, and we actually had one more from Amy. So, yes, Amy, the recipient of the email, no, they don't need to have a Monday account. They need to have an email address, and that's about it. So, this is basically what really happens here is that emails and activities as an app does not have any email sending powers whatsoever itself. It actually hijacks your Gmail or Outlook and basically sends a message to that and say, yeah, here's the message. Please send that to this person. And when your email, Outlook or Gmail, gets an email back from someone within your contacts within Monday, the app just say, oh, yeah, please bring me that information. So, yeah, it's not to worry.
Any more questions in the chat? Because now when I'm presenting, I'm not seeing the chat anymore, Frederick.
No, I think we're done for the moment. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming tonight.